We're working on something for Freeport. Anyway, Brother Tynes, I gotta let you go. I got Brother Amos on the next line. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, man.
Now that I have
no
your
problem.
number, I'm gonna put your number in my phone.
Yeah, okay.
God bless you. Talk soon.
Thank you.
All righty. Brother Amos.
Good night, Mom.
Good night. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Good night to you and to your producer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always say good night to you, and we always forget the producer. How could we forget the producer?
You shouldn't forget my producer. That's Brother Ennis.
Okay, so Dr. Gail Sanders is the name of the doctor who was in charge of the
archives.
And the contract days would have been from 1943 to at least 1965. An estimated 30,000 or so Bahamians, both men and women, migrated to the United States looking for work.
How many thousand?
Altogether, over the years, about 30,000. But at the beginning of the contract, you had at least about, I think the contract was July 1st, 1944, representing roughly 1/10 of a certain population in a certain country. But the Bahamian people were, during those years, 1948 to 62, thousands more Bahamian workers were admitted into the United States under the program. So the program started and it went on for a while. So what year we were talking about? I'm looking at the beginning of the war years, from 1943, 44, all the way up to 1965. And
you got it. That's
correct.
And
why I said that, because in between 1961 and 1965, my grandfather and his brothers and sisters, family islanders of Auckland's Crooked Island and Long Key, were creating that association. They were forming it. It is said in my books. It was formed in 1961, and so by 1965, they were on top of it. They were well on their way, and so my book on one of the records says in 1971 was when they first met in their New Association Hall. And so my grandfather worked on that contract, and so for many years, yes.
Which island? Where did he go? What part of America?
In Florida. He worked in Florida, and he worked other places in the United States. But I know, if I could remember the story correctly, they have died for some time now. But
did he pick lemons or tomatoes?
Pardon?
What did he pick exactly?
I think they were. My Grammy told me my grandfather used to work on the orange grove. He used to work on the picking potatoes, tomatoes, all kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then some of them were also builders. So you know, my grandfather was, and people like them, because they were young, and we see not long being drafted there. My grandfather was then, elected to go there. My grandfather then was also drafted along with other Bahamians to go to World War II.
Gotcha.
You see, so I have a rich history in this country, and so for Bahamian people who are bare feet on some of these family islands, you know, to get to the place, become educated to the extent that you can communicate to the Bahamian people to get them to side with you in terms of the two-party system. And then this is how you all turn on the people. Became traitors.
Well, maybe that was not the intent. Maybe
see, Lady Russell, I ain't here to make no excuse. Maybe, my son was in a wheelchair for the last 19 years. Okay, the 10th of April coming to make him 20 years old. And that's how long he was in a wheelchair. Why? Because some people in both sides of the government thought they could hide or hid some stuff from Amos or prevent Amos and other people like Amos. See, I'm only like to use myself as an example. That's what I am, an example.